Maboika ituno kina atiaono. Welcome, sisters and brothers. Well, here I am again, you know, just finishing up the nine energy center. Now we at the ninth one. Um, like I said, there is also a school of thought that says there's 12, and we can get into the other three at a later podcast, but that goes really, really, really into the multiverse. You know what I'm saying? Um, the this energy center, star energy center, will touch upon that. We'll touch upon it. Okay, so we'll get into that. So just want to say it's a beautiful day. You know, seasons are changing once again. It's beautiful here. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it is beautiful out here. Temperatures around 75, 76-ish. Nice breeze coming in. I got my window open, so I'm getting a nice air. I love to breathe it. So things are looking pretty nice at this moment right now. You so being that there's not much information on the Star Energy Center, so I had to research pieces here and there and there. It's gonna be in two parts. I just want to I just need to just scratch the surface on this one again. But being that we're gonna have time, let me recap. Because remember, the star energy center is reciprocal, is the earth energy center and how it relates. So if you know that the earth energy center deals with ancestry patterns and genetic blueprints. Okay, so this is where your genetics comes to play, right? At the earth, you're grounded. You know your genetics, and you're grounded to earth. Earth has a genetic, also, as we'll discuss that later on. Um, so that's the earth, which is the reciprocal of the star. Okay, so remember, since the earth has genetic genetic blueprint and ancestral pattern, so does the star. The stars are connected with one each other too. Also, they're connected with one each other, and they also have a genetic blueprint. And it also plays a lot with our energy center, our genetics too. As we'll go on when we deal with the constellations, and which is called astronomy, which gave birth to astrology, and we'll look at the dendera. You know, we'll put all those pieces together, okay? But the reciprocal of the star again is the Earth star, okay? We move up to the root. The root deals with food, which is sustenance, money, which is currency, and environment, shelter, which is environment, and sustainability. Okay, so this energy center deals with that. Its blockage is fear. So when you have fear, it can stack itself up, and also fear of not having enough sustenance, food, the fear of hunger, right? The fear of not having an environment, or the fear of your environment, of going outside and fearing your environment because you haven't stabilized your environment. You know, that's why when you go to certain hospitals, they always ask you, is there anybody in your home that do you feel fearful for your life? These are questions that are giving them clues as to what energy, what's going on with your body and these energy center, which affects your organs. Keep that. So fear is what can block this energy center. So we got to face our fears. We got to deal with it. We got to make sure that we're in a safe environment. We got to make sure that our currency is up to par, that we're able to stream, put our energy, our attention. That's the new money, attention, energy, and put that into currency. So as you can, have help with your sustainability and your sustenance, which is your food. We spoke about this energy center, how it could be imbalanced sometimes, and also by the foods you eat. Now, the reciprocal of that energy center, the root, is the crown, because it deals with magnetism. Remember, your crown, what you eat, heavy metals, or your environment, you could be heavy. It affects your heart because that's the accent. So you could be heavy at heart. You know what I'm saying? But then you got to look at the subconscious, the the signals that you were getting from our environment, how we fear that, or if there's any fear there, our currency, and also the food we eat. Certain foods activate certain things in us, organ wise. It can make you feel like jittery or fearful. You know what I'm saying? Because of when you, especially when you eat meat, when these animals has been treated and has, you know, gone through this process to create this meat, the fearful tactic that was put on cows and chickens, so it's important to find out the foods you're eating. Even if you're going to eat meat, eat it organically, organic meat. Eat chickens that are from a farm and you see it there being slaughtered, or what they call halal meat. Also, there's a practice in certain religions where they'll take the calf or the cow and they'll look into the eyes. If that cow shed a tear or they could see something, they wouldn't touch that cow. But if the cow just simply there is no tear, then they will slit his throat and they'll sacrifice that cow. That's just practice. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is that certain industry has, you know, created this adrenaline in certain meats by causing fear in some of these animals that we eat it, we intake that, and genetically, they have also genetics. They have blueprint also. We take that in, it affects our body. You got to really look into that. That's science, and you can look at that. But that's the root energy center deals with that. So again, like I said, if you're meditating and you're dealing with your root and you want to activate it, you also have to look at the foods you're eating. You also have to look at your environment. All of this stuff comes to play with that energy center. Okay. Remember, meditation is just to focus. Meditation is just to focus. It's just to actually view what's happening with these energy center. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's reciprocal against to the crown, as you know. You know what I'm saying? And that's the magnetism. You know what I'm saying? And the oceanic feeling, lightness that you're gonna feel with this crown. But anyway, we're going up, so we'll get to that. The next one is a sacral, sacral. Some say sacral, some say sacral. That's your sex and your pleasure energy center. Okay, so if you're focusing on that, you got to look at that that particular that energy center is blocked by guilt. What guilt are you holding in terms of your sex and pleasure? You shouldn't feel guilty to enjoy the pleasurable things in life, the good things of the pleasurable things of your labor. You shouldn't feel guilty. Okay, the only time you feel guilty is that you're overindulging, and you're not taking other things into consideration. Then you're gonna feel guilty. So you got to deal with guilt, and that's to block that particular energy that deals with sex and pleasure. Of course, there are some techniques that we spoke about when you deal with the sacral. Certain techniques, certain knowledges that's out there, especially in the Kama Sutra. And then when you deal with pleasure, you got to look at your pleasure. Is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Is this the touchstone? Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I'm gonna see if I can edit that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so well, so where we at? We're at the sacral, the pleasure. You gotta look at your pleasures. You gotta also look at your sexual practice. What are you doing? And then again, this one is blocked by guilt. You should feel guilty for, again, for enjoying the fruits of your labor and gaining a certain pleasure. But if you see that it's being harmful to your environment, if it feels that it's being harmful to what you're eating, you know what I'm saying? It's affecting a lot of other things. You really got to put that in balance, okay? As to work with that guilt. Excuse me. Let me drink this smoothie I made. So, um, so that's the sacral. Now we've gone up to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is where your identity is at, your personal power. That's the energy behind it. And that one, again, it could be straightened by certain skills. You know what I'm saying? The breathing skills and karate, kung fu, or the martial arts. The yoga because you're breathing and you know what I'm saying. You see that you start walking different, you start feeling different because this is your identity, your personal power. Now it could be blocked by shame. Okay. And I seen how people have been shamed because they didn't have the ways to really protect themselves. Or they just, or the shame of, you know, all these centers are related, connected. So the shame of having guilt and the shame of certain shame can arise from different aspect of human experiences. And we have to watch that. You know what I'm saying? We all live with a certain level of shame and stuff. So like I said, it's not easy. There's a lot of work to be done, even in my life, bro. In my life, the reason why I've gotten into this is because I really need to heal my body and heal my life and my environment. We're not perfect, but the thing is, if you do have a direction, a purpose to go to a purpose, then we can obtain that and work with that. It's easy to live with certain circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, that one is blocked by shame. And that's your solar plexus. Learn how to protect yourself. Learn gallantry. Learn okay to learn weaponry. Learn how to protect your environment. Learn how to protect your loved one. You know what I'm saying? Don't get shamed. Um, because it could really cause a disruptor in your life. You know what I'm saying? And like okay. So then we go up to the heart, which is I call the access. They call it the psychic barrier because of the access. All of the energy center we mentioned deals with the subconscious mind because there's something about these organs and there's something about, especially with the solar plexus. It has these it has this energy about it. It's the seat of your life, the vitality. It's in there. You know what I'm saying? So when also it has your emotional century, they call it. The vitality. You know what I'm saying? Boxers know this, and martial artists know this. One hit to the solar plexus in your life. You know what I'm saying? That's because it has these filaments that the reason why they call it solar because it has this filament that goes out and it reaches, the heart, it reaches the other energy center and you feel it right there where the gut is at. Okay. So the heart energy center is the psychic um, barrier, what they call, and it is the one that is access. So remember, so the earth has a reciprocal with the star. The root has a reciprocal with the crown. The sacral has a reciprocal with the pineal, with the third eye. The solar plexus has reciprocal with your throat energy, right? The heart is the axis, it's the balancer, because this is where you're carrying your purpose, which is passion with a reason, and your What more can I say? Your caring, your kindness. This is where it your the purpose. This is where it's harnessed at. I'm saying this, and it's very, very, very important. The heart. Even in many ancient culture, especially the Kemetic culture, the heart is very, and they say that the heart has neurons in it also, so it's like a brain. That's what they say. I don't know. There's more studies that needs to be done on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that the solar plexus has the material of the brain, but then the heart is so attached to it. Because the heart is so attached to the solar plexus. At the same time, the heart is attached to your brain. You feel through the vagus nerve. It attaches it through the vagus nerve. So it's again a very important because it at the center of all of your energy. It is the accent. It is the balance. So kindness and caring, what I'm saying? That one could be blocked by grief, grievance, grief. That sense of deep sorrow, that sense of loss, that sense of resentful, um, resentful. You know what I'm saying? So that grief, you know, things are gonna always come up. Loss of an animal, or loss of a loved one, a parent, or whatever. That's always gonna come up with grief. But this is where you have to deal with it, with, with this energy center. Okay, this is where you have to. That grief can block and make you feel resentful. Oh, I should have done this when she was alive, or do this, or resentful. There's certain feelings that come to play. Look at it all and deal with it all. You know what I'm saying? We get up to the throat, okay, which is now we're getting up to the higher senses. The throat is communication. Is the voice, that energy center is the voice behind, it is the energy behind the voice that you have. It also has an identity also, you know. Like I said, in that podcast, I Leave the Throat, I used to love when singers all had a different identity. Teddy Pendergrass from Lou Rawls, Marvin Gaye, all of these different singers had an identity, okay? And this is your will. You can speak from here. It was reciprocal to your solar plexus. So this is your will, right? This is your identity. So also this is your will and your identity when you speak your truth. Because it could be blocked by lies. Where if you lie a lot, okay, and you are engaged in fragmented mental experiences and not getting to the truth of things, so you're not speaking your truth, then you create a lot of organic problems with your organs, with your thyroid. You also create a lot of problems within this area. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be very cognizant of that. And so lies can block from you from speaking your truth. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're confused. You know what I'm saying? You're broken up. You're fragmented. That you can't speak it because it doesn't have power behind it. You know what I'm saying? When you speak your truth, right, and you sing it, people see by your character, they can hear your character within your voice. They can hear the amount of will, the conviction that you have in your solar plexus through your voice. Okay. Now we go up to what they call the third eye, which is where they say the pineal gland. Now this is reciprocal to your sacral because here also you can experience a mental orgasm. Okay. You can also, and also the pineal gland, they say it's like a cone. It also get erected. You know what I'm saying? That's what it means. To open your third eye means that it's erected and now it's secreting this amount of DMT. It's secreting melatonin, serotonin, what you need to activate in your systems in order for rest, for cannibalism, and for animalism. You know what I'm saying? It secretes, you know what I'm saying, certain chemicals, and also your DMT because it vision. It's your sensing beyond wisdom. It's a intuitive sensing. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, common sense. You don't have common sense. That means your sensing ability You don't have that. It's not in order. You know what I'm saying? So that deals with the third eye. Okay, and that could be blocked by illusions. And the third eye, it's or some say the first eye. That's your first eye. The other, then you got the other two eyes, optic nerves that are connected to this pineal gland, which also is the part that gets light, gets erected light and imagination, but illusions will block it because illusions are manipulating. You're manipulating the octave. You're manipulating imagery. You're also audio connected. You know, you're manipulating it in a way that is false. It's not backed up by experience. So you got to be very, very careful with the third eye. You know, so you have to get rid of those illusions. I suggest you study magic and study how. I suggest that yeah, you study magic, a little bit of magic, and you watch how people can elude you with illusions. And this is where it can create delusional people, is because they're under the illusion, they allude into illusion, thinking that life things or historic things are one way, right? That when they speak, they're delusional. They playing. Their mind are being played a trick on their mind. This is very, very important. We have to look at this, the illusion. So we have to recognize, that. Now we go into the crown. And the crown energy center, again, remember the thousand petals, that when it is balanced and activated, the petals open up. Yeah, they open up, and you have that oceanic feeling. You're connecting now to your spirit, your character and personality, and also the magnetism. This is where magnetism comes in. You know what I'm saying? You this is where gravitational pull and levitational expanse. This is where it all happens. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's a human experiences and magnetism. People that are connected to the multiverse seems to carry a magnetism with them. You know what I'm saying? Um, we'll go deeper at another podcast where we'll go really, really deep into that because it'll take a while to really go into how. But this is where the magnetism, this is where it happens. This is above here. This is that soft spot that everyone has, the baby had. And as you get older, that closes up. The magnetism get less. You get more gravitational. So you start getting older and you start what? Shrinking? In the sense, some people, you start shrinking, your skin, your mouth, certain things happens to your body. You know what I'm saying? People that are more stronger in this energy center have a youthful type of appearance because they're connected with the spirituality, which again, remember I said spirituality akin to attitude, is character and personality. So they're in tune with their character and their personality, the right character and personality, because you also that you carry that genetically, so you have to tune into that. We can go deeper into that when we start going. I want to take time out and do podcasts at each one of these centers again, going down and really do freestyle and really, really, really go in. So this leads me up to discussions, the Star Energy Center, and this one is where this is what they say where you achieve your highest destiny here. Okay, you have this feeling that you're achieving your highest destiny. It's healing karmic wounds. There's certain karmic wounds. There's certain things that we've done created karma about us, and we wound. When you want to correct that karma and the wound, this is where it all happens. Which means that it's your personal archetypes and symbol. It helps you to remember your connection to source. This is where it happens. The star connection to source. Now, the reason why they say star, remember the star is the sun. Sun is a star. So the star that is our source of this planet Earth, right? Remember that's reciprocal, is what? The sun. So it's important to sun gaze. Very important to sun gaze. And we're gonna go over that later on. I'm doing notes on that too. There was a nice podcast that the brother KT, the Arch degree, did, and he went into how the sun and what it does to the body, and how we should every day we need to our body needs to feed source from the sun. You know what I'm saying, that that's a source of nourishment that we get from the sun. So every day, so sun gazing is a way to do it. Getting and then you sun gaze at sunrise, the sunset, and it's good to get out in the field. You're grounded to the earth. You're barefooted. You're on earth, and then you sun gaze for a few. Very powerful. I've done it. Felt very great. And then after the sun rises at 12, you still get in the sun because it's going to take some nourishment. It's going to activate some melanin. It's going to activate a lot of systems in your body. So it's a way of obtaining nourishment, in the sun. So the sun is the source. So remember how we said that the source of things. Like for instance, one of the podcasts I did a podcast where I mentioned about the Anunnaki, right? Anunnaki was your for instance, your head of state, whatever. The Anuna, that was the culture, that was the middle, and then the source of it all was An, right? Just look at, you can research on this. An was the source. Elohim, Eloh, and El is the source, right? Allahumma, right? Allah, culture. Al is the source of it, right? Kemetic, Naturu, Nater, and Nut is the source. So in remembering that kind of connectivity to the source, remembering your source sun, remembering your connection with the sun, and also, like I said, this is connected with your Earth energy center, which deals with genetic blueprint, ancestral pattern. So that sun also connectivity connect is also a byproduct, a product, a child of another sun. In other words, when you look at the galactical, they're connected genetically. You can look this up. They're connected. You have clusters of stars that birth other stars, dwarf stars that birth stars, excuse me, and on and on and on. So everything on Earth, so when you connect to the source, when you connect to the source and you relate to the genetic blueprint of that particular star, and then now you're dealing with, you're opening up to galaxies of how it relates to each other. You know what I'm saying? Clusters of galaxies. There are like 143 galaxies that we know of, and even more coming. It's infinite amount of galaxies. You know what I'm saying? Um, so we're on Earth, when we're connected to the source, which is the that star which is connected to the multiverse, we get to see how the positioning of these stars, and then part two, we're going to go into that about the Dendera and the positioning, astronomy, and the positioning of certain star constellations, Taurus, Sagittarius. In other words, your astrology sign is a clue to that. You know what I'm saying? It affects also your genetic blueprint. And not only your astrology sign, but the astrology sign of your mother and your father affects your character and personality. You know what I'm saying? And they're saying that we are birthed, our spirit are birthed from galaxies. We all come from different places. You know what I'm saying? So the idea that there's a connectivity, there is a genetic blueprint of these ancestral patterns of these celestial bodies Okay, then we get on to understand how we are the microverse, the micro micro of that macro light. You know what I'm saying? Just like the brain, the neurons. Now they're saying that the multiverse is orchestrated, is consists of neurons. And I totally get it. You know what I'm saying? Because you see the connections of these, and you see the lights. It's just like if you was to look at your brains and you see the synapse happening in your brain and the connectivity from one side to the next side. And it's like if you look at it, it's a system of web-like filaments and light paths going through when they do the scan of the brain. Um, so you're dealing with again that connectivity when it comes to the star energy center when you connect with that. You know what I'm saying? In ancient time, they were very much into knowing about this astronomy and how it related to their culture, um, and even insects and animals. And let me just tell you like that. For instance, spider web. A spider webs because it is mimicking the celestial realm. It's like a web. You know what I'm saying? Like they talk on the neurons, like a web. The beetle, the scarab, it rolls its done. It walk backward, roll is perfectly spirit done, right? But it's making a straight line in a line with the Milky Way. Look it up. So the Milky Way is in this constellation where we in the Milky Way, and so they're aligning themselves with a straight line on the Milky Way, and so you say, wow, so all animals tend to have this innately in them. You know what I'm saying? Where on earth our ancient ancestors did the same thing. They didn't make a move if they didn't see the movement within the stars. You know what I'm saying? They created the Giza, all these pyramids, few pyramids around the world. You can see there's a line to certain constellations. For instance, the Orion belt constellated three stars. So you got the three pyramids, both in Giza, in Egypt, in Kemet, and also in Mexico, pyramids in Mexico. And then also, if you look at certain tribes in Native American tribes in the United States, the movement that they made from pueblo to pueblo, the movement that they made was mimicking the stars. So it's that connecting. You know what I'm saying? Is that connecting? In ancient Kemet too, in the Temple of Hathor, it was like a fertility clinic that they went to in order for them to have orchestrate and like epigenetic. They knew by the stars and knew about the positioning of the star, whatever, what kind of personality you wanted to bring to the world. This is the practice. It was done. You know, even in roots, they show that they take the child and they put them, and not putting them to the moon, is putting them to the multiverse because he came from the multiverse, and is to imprint in the psychic in that child, is to imprint and is to recognize the fact that this is a star child. We are all star child. They're saying that we have stardust in us, and we're going to go over what makes up the star. Okay. Um, and so we mimic a lot our cultures, even our political bodies. Excuse me one second. Even our political bodies, the Confederacy, Confederation, all of that is mimicking what we know of the multiverse. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into that. So again, when you want to achieve your highest destiny, you know that you are going to return. In other words, it's like that energy, that heat in your body, that energy, what happens? And also, it talks about, it deals a lot with consciousness too. We're going to have a conversation about consciousness. It's been coming up in a lot of discussions I've been having about consciousness. But there's an earth consciousness, also a star consciousness, a galaxy consciousness. Consciousness being aware. So we're looking at it, is there an awareness, and we're in that awareness, you know what I'm saying? And we're just experiencing this awareness within ourselves. But what happens to the point? In other words, if I take a drop from the ocean, right? Now that ocean has all the properties. I mean, that drop has all the properties of the ocean, right? And I take the drop of the ocean, and then I submerge it back into the ocean. You don't see no drop anymore. It became back into the multiverse. So I'm looking at it. Is consciousness the same thing? Is there a time where our consciousness gets emerged back into the all super consciousness, and we're no longer aware of our own consciousness because we're now engulfed in the multiverse consciousness? That's just something to think about. And I think, and you know, it's kind of hard for certain people to think about things like that because when you deal with void and you deal with the fact that you know, your con your individuality, you know what I'm saying, who you are becomes merged in 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 a pool of multiverse. For instance, your ancestors, all that pool of your ancestors live within you, right? And now you are a consciousness of all those beings that existed. When we balance ourselves and we recognize the connection that we have, and that again, this paddle is opened up, and you get that oceanic, called the oceanic feeling. And now you're in tune with the multiverse. You know what I'm saying? So there is really no individuality. That is just a separation. That is an illusion. An illusion. You know what I'm saying? We are a representative of that of our race and in general, of our humanity. Whatever we do affects it because really there is no separation. Whatever you do affects that multiverse, that oceanic, that ocean, that multiversal experience, that multiversal pool that we in. You know what I'm saying? So this is aligning ourselves, and this is when you deal with the star energy set, you're dealing with your highest destiny, which is to be engulfed in the multiverse or in the all consciousness, okay, and becoming an ancestor. So this pool of ancestry gene is going to is going to manifest if you get together with your opposite sex and your guys give birth to an extension of yourself. And then as you go on, you become in this pool of ancestral patterns. You become a pool in this genetics. You know what I'm saying? And this goes on and on and on. And this is the same scenario. This is the same occurrence that's happening in the multiverse with the stars. Stars birthing stars and becoming ancestral. Stars engulf and stars dissipates. But then we say to ourselves, where did that energy go? That's why they have a report now. Again, big up to my brother. We get a report that the Japanese are saying that the sun is losing its mass, right? Because I told them, you know, I've been listening to the brother was saying that the sun is like a placenta, you know what I'm saying, attached to us, that sun. I understand where he's coming from, and that is gaining material, is gaining energy from the other cosmic galactic celestial bodies, and it's absorbing it, and it's becoming fusion. It's grabbing the hydrogen, it's grabbing and creating that into helium. So this is what's going on. I get that too. So I totally get where that's coming from. And yes, when you look at the sun, you're looking at a ball of energy, plasmic ball of energy, right? But if you know anything about energy or matter, it occupies a space, a vacuum. So yes, this this sun is in a black hole. It's just grabbing material and in order to sustain itself. So what this report is saying that it's no longer doing that because it's losing mass. But that's yet to be spoken about. I need to go really, really deep in that, because then that means that the axiom or the theory that you cannot really destroy energy because energy just transforms into something else. In other words, you got a rubber soul, right? So you got this energy of a rubber soul. But as you go on a basketball court, you use it with energy, then that is the rubber became that energy. You know what I'm saying? It became that particular energy that gave you the traction. It gave, you know what I'm saying? That's why it dissipated. So you really don't destroy energy. It just becomes, you really don't destroy any material, anything. It just becomes transformed into something else. So if you reason that out, then I mean, is it that that star, that sun, all that energy bottled up could be energy or material that has dissipated in the multiverse, right? And transform into this energy. And then once this sun gives up, we're gone. But are we all collectively, this energy, are going to become another sun for another existence? You know what I'm saying? So the idea of transformation, it's at play here. You know what I'm saying? So this is really, really thinking, you know, thinking about our higher destiny. You know what I'm saying? And this can be, misinformation, could block it. You know what I'm saying? Misinformation could block this. So most of the higher energy centers are blocked by illusions, lies, misinformation, and this and that, because these are ideas that if it's in line and it is truthful, then it has to be aligned with the experiences or the habit from your lower energy center. Your paradigm is your habitual nature. So if what you're thinking is not aligned with your habitual nature, then you created an imbalancement. Then that's an illusion. You're lying to yourself. That's an illusion. You're misinforming yourself. You know what I'm saying? But once you gain knowledge, gain the reason, then you transform that here with purpose. And then you create habits or frequencies. Frequency is frequently. When something frequently goes on and on and on, it becomes a frequency. Frequently. It happens frequently. So you create your own frequency. You know what I'm saying? By the habit that you're having. You know, the habits that you're forming for yourself. You know what I'm saying? If I have an idea that I want to be a percussion or conga player, and I don't practice, I don't have a habit of practicing. I mean, I stood hours. I wanted to learn how to play congas at 9 years old, and I used to lock myself for hours playing records, hours learning how to hit that drum, learning how practice, habit. So my hand normally hits the drum a certain way, and I get the sound that my ident my signature sound. Because also congas has a lot to do with that because you're dealing with your identity also. Your breathing, your identity, you know. So this is, discussion goes that the star energy center, when we focus on that, we meditated, we're now as we meditated from down from the earth and we work our way up, as far as focus is concerned, we're looking at the star energy center, we're looking at this the highest destiny. And we're looking, when you get to the crown, it opens it up and then it receives the energy, the drop of that star. It receives the frequency of that star to blossom and to feed all of the other energy center, which are connected, you know. And that's human experience. You see, this is what I wanted to say, very, very important, that there's a difference between spirituality and religion, right? Spirituality. But then there's a difference between spirituality and natural nature. So in religion, the spirituality was taken out. In spirituality, the natural nature was taken out. You know what I'm saying? This is the tri system that we're dealing with. Natural nature's above, and then you got spirituality on one side and religion on the other side. You know what I'm saying? A trichotomy, you know? And so we have to be aware of that. Okay. These conversations about these energy centers is to connect us back to human experience and human technology also. Because remember, these scientists know this. And everything we do, like robotics, AI, AR, which are augmented reality, artificial intelligence, robotic, is mimicking our human experience, our human technology, even down to the 3D printing, because we see in the 3D, because we see in dimensions. Everything that this technology is doing is mimicking human technology. So we have to balance it, not lean too much to one, balance it with the other. So I hope that this podcast uh, is becoming clear, and we're getting to the point where we're going to be actually practicing of how to, certain, spiritual and some religious. I want to put it all together. I don't want to leave my religious people out because it's like they're part of us. You know what I'm saying? And for those that are in religion and that leaning to spirituality, and those that are spirituality leaning into natural nature, the end goal is going to be natural nature, not human natural nature, humanity getting back its technology and being strong in it. That's not to get lost in the silicon, not to get lost in the other augmented realities. You know what I'm saying? So we're understanding really hard. We're understanding how all these energies that we have, especially these nine. Let's work with that first, because there are many, many more. But this energy we have, the basic energy, and dealing with our humanity and how we can walk on this earth with our feet firmly on the ground, or us being fully earthbound, right? Humanity, human being, at the same time, our ideas are of the multiverse, star, our heads up in the stars, but our feet up firm, our planet firmly on the ground. That's the whole message behind this, really, really. That's the whole message behind it. And then as we go on and on and on, I definitely want to do this podcast in Spanish because I want to reach out to my Spanish brothers and sisters and brothers. I always use sisters first because you can't. Your sisters come first. My our sisters and brothers. I want to involve because a lot of the Tainos are speaking a lot of Spanish, you know. But then my Spanish is not that great, so I'm gonna need help and patience. I'm gonna need help, and I want to do a set of podcasts. I don't know if I should start another YouTube just en español, solamente en español. Yo sé que va a ser un poco difícil, pero yo creo que yo lo puedo hacer. Yo creo que yo lo puedo hacer. Me van a entender. Me van a entender porque yo voy a tratar de usar palabras más básicos y aprender mucho más. Because in the long run, what I want to do is also with our Spanish speaking and our English speaking sisters and brothers is getting into the Taino language. Into the Taino language. Maybe create our own little dialect of that. That's fine. That happens all the time. But if you can gain the basic of the Taino language, okay, and we can connect with our genetics, and then we can see how that particular culture, nature was in tune with the multiverse. That's my goal. I need to find out how, and which is they were very connected to natural nature as far as Earth, but I want to know what about this top half, how they connected, and they did connect with the sun. Yeah, there are pictographs. You know what I'm saying? They did connect to the sun. It's a it was part a remnant, part of this ancient civilization. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we can go deep. So again, recapping on the Star Energy Center, is achieving your highest destiny. Okay, knowing a destiny, you know, and that is emerging ourselves back into this ocean of consciousness. You know, oceans of thoughts and conscious of many consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Healing karmic wounds. We because of stuff that our ancestors did kind of like affect us now. We have gained this karmic wounds, especially for my African American brothers and sisters, and even the Caribbean too. This colonization, this slavery, a lot of this acts that has been detrimental, and also for the European too. They went through their sense of slavery also. They went through their sense of you know what I'm saying. Um, so we don't want to discard that. You know what I'm saying. I'm not here for that, but I'm mainly want to appeal may at first in with the part of humanity which is of the melanated ones. You know what I'm saying? And we all got melanin. We all got melanin. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that are copper tone, the African Americans specifically, and the Caribbean, Caribbean and the South Americans too. You know what I'm saying? Well, we relate all of that. Um, you're understanding your personal archetype. You know what I'm saying? Your personality, the archetype, for instance, in astrology, astronomy, and the symbols, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm born in December the 11th, it's under the Sagittarius. Understanding that, but also understanding that apart from that, there are constellations, there are other forces in the constellation that has affected that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can be born under Jupiter was more prominent in the house of Cancer. There's a lot of information about that. I'm not too savvy with that because I don't lean more towards that type of thought patterns, but it's interesting. So I'm starting to, gain a little bit of knowledge in that. Um, so these symbols are, yeah, there's a lot of symbols that has been recorded on, for instance, caves. When you go to Taino, There's caves and there's pictographs, symbols that represents, the higher selves and the multiverse and the constellation. Also, the Dargans are known for that. Ancient Kemet, there has been symbols of that, and also those ancient practices. You know what I'm saying? That has been, and that's when it comes to astronomy and astrology. India is very big on that too. One of the biggest, I think, observatory when it comes to dealing with astronomy, observatory, I think it's in India. You know, so yeah, it's a beautiful day to go for a walk. So you know, and remembering your connection to source. You know what I'm saying? Remember your connection to the source of it all. Remember your connection with the sun. You know, make that connection. Sun gaze. You know what I'm saying? Get that sun in. Take that walk and get that sun in. Make that connection. And then also uh, um, read up on the stars. You know what I'm saying? On the next podcast, we're gonna go in on that. When you deal with the Star Energy Center, we're going on what makes up a star, and what are star clusters, and what are the different constellations. And also remember I spoke about the Galactic Confederation, and there are persons, people out there that know about the Andromeda Council, Ashtar Command, the Orion groups, all of these different groups and all that affected this planet, because now they're saying that genetically we are. I posed this question to my brother. I said, so you know the Anunnakis came from a different constellation, or the Arcturians, or the different groups that came from different constellation, and they genetically alter uh, um, human beings, your Homo sapiens sapiens, right? So if they did that genetically, they infused some of their genetics into these early Homo sapiens sapiens, right? And then those Homo sapiens 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 gave birth, and on and on and on, and we're the descendants of a lot of these Homo sapiens. Then are there groups of us that have more of a genetic blueprint that deals with that particular culture? Do we have this alien genetics in us? And I think that's what they're finding out about the junk DNA. That is actually that's been turned off, because it is the genetics that had altered us and gave us a more multivirtual consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So you have the Anunnaki on one end, and where they came from, I think Sirius, or I forget the constellation, but then you have the Indians with the Arcturians coming from Nirvana and Arcturian, that constellations. You have the Germans, Aldebaran constellations, and then you have, the council. They're saying that these beings came to this planet, and genetically, they found these Homo erectus and and made them into Homo sapiens by injecting their genetics into, and also the genetic blueprinting, genetic manufacturing, and created this. So we're actually what, test tube babies? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's a conversation they're having now. It's a deep conversation. You know what I'm saying? But it's understanding again your celestial archetype. You know what I'm saying? You know, and dealing with that. So and another time I'll do a podcast about creation, existence, and creation, about organism. How organism are formed, and why are they formed. You know what I'm saying? And how are they formed. You know. So these are conversations we're gonna have at a later time. But again, so I like to just end it right there. Don't want to make it too long, almost an hour. Um, and so, you know, hope that you enjoy that. I hope that you find something in that. So sort of like spark something in you and say, man, wait a minute. And go deeper in research. And if you feel that because a lot of people are going to say pseudoscience, but they really don't understand. They really don't understand what they say when they say pseudoscience. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you are pseudo and you are, and it's scientific. But they say pseudo. What is pseudo? False. It doesn't exist. But then again, we know that our human experiences exist, and we know that we are in a different occurrence that are happening galactical is going to affect our human experience, our humanity. They say look out for December the 21st. Actually, October 16th, but then December the 21st is saying that the constant, because it's going to be an alignment and these constellations, the pull, the magnetic pull, and also this stream of what they call spores, greenish spores. And if you are not well in your diet and you have these heavy metals, you're going to have a hard time adapting to these new galactical spores, or occurrence that's going to happen. Things change. You know what I'm saying? And so they're saying that, get your diet right. You know what I'm saying? They say this COVID-19 is all part of that. It's all part of that. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's just a conversation that they're having now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spook nobody out. You know what I'm saying? But know that, we are celestial. This earth is in this vacuum, this space. You know what I'm saying? We're traveling within this space, so we're extraterrestrial. How can you be celestial and astral at the same time? Okay, that's a clue. Extra. That means extra terrestrial, earthbound, and astral. You know what I'm saying? We this is activating this part of our genetics. We have to activate that part of our genetics. It could be blocked by dogma. Religion could block it. Spiritual practices, when you lean too much into spiritual tarot card, paranoia, that also can block it. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to, we got to think more. We got to be very careful. You know what I'm saying? That blockage of the star energy center is dogma. Dogma could block that. You know what I'm saying? It's pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening in the galactics. Read those scientific articles. Or not only scientific articles, take a look at the stars. I advise you to get a telescope if you can. Look at the stars. Stay alert. Watch how nature, the animals act at certain times. Watch your environment around you and notice if there's any change. Right now, there's a big change going on. It's called COVID-19. Big change. You know what I'm saying? That is an agenda that has been implemented that has changing us. And it could be an agenda from, like they say, extraterrestrial. Or it could be agenda scientific. It could be nature. It doesn't matter. The fact is, it's changing our lives. It has changed our life. It disrupted the life we knew before. And now we have to go forward. And there's a new beginning. Are we gonna be part of it? Our ancestry. We're gonna be part of it. Let's enjoy the fruits of our labor. People say, "Oh, what's the use of, we're all gonna be done in the future. The sun is gonna burst. It's gonna end, and the whole everything going on." But listen, we're in the now. We have an ability to shape our future and to correct our past in the now. Think about this now. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Okay? I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that, and much love, to you all. And I'm gonna research some Taino words, especially I forgot, man. I like love you, I love you, and stuff like that. But anyway, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Okay. So we look out for part two. We're gonna do part two and go and clean things up. Go into other areas when it comes to the star. You know, energy center. So peace.